No, I see you wearing your Cowboys and Aliens shirt, so I guess you were at Comic-Con? Yeah? Good. We've come a long way, huh? It's getting there. Good. Well, yeah, thank you. I enjoy directing more, to be honest with you, because now that this has become part of directing, now that when we're trying to lock picture and finish off effects and get the music in, the moment where it tends to be the most trying and is the most anxiety from the studios, and you're trying to figure out your release and your marketing campaign, to be able to come here and show you this and to feel like we're throwing a party and to have it be appreciated so much, it makes directing the most fun job there is in the world, for sure.
John, thank you for bringing Daniel Craig and Harrison Ford together, and also bringing in one of my favorite actors, Sam Rockwell. My question is, I know you're not directing Iron Man 3, but would you be open to at least cameoing as Happy?
As Happy Hogan? Yeah, look, it's I love Shane Black. I'm not familiar with the work of the writer that they just announced that they hired, but you know, I'm very grateful for the opportunities I've had with Marvel. It's introduced me to all of you, and now we move on together, and they're moving on in their own direction. So I continue to be supportive of them, and I can't wait to hear what they have in mind. I'm of course open to anything. I love that franchise, and I love those guys.
Hi. Were you guys purposely avoiding using historical figures, like, say, having Doc Holliday and Wyatt Earp teaming up on an alien?
Absolutely. Absolutely, we're avoiding that. No, you know, we want it to be someone we want it to be people you can relate to. In fact, we should talk about the Western. There's a long history of cameos, and there's no small parts in a Western. And the reason you get people like Sam Rockwell, you get people like Paul Dano, Walt Goggins, Anna Aguirre, they all come out of the woodwork because every part matters in a Western. There's no small parts in it. And obviously, John's amazing at casting. We were so lucky to have, I mean, everyone in the movie, no matter, even if they're on for 5 seconds, is just giving it their all, and they're fantastic.
Yeah, and I think that part of making too many historical figures in it, it starts to feel cute, and we wanted the humor. You guys got it. I mean, you guys are the first audience to really see what this movie is about and where the fun is. The fun isn't in making fun of the fact that they're in a Western. The fun is about it blowing their minds and trying to wrap their heads around what they're experiencing and how do these small people fight against such long odds with such superior technology. That's the fun of this film. And I think by peppering in cute cameos of historical figures, I loved it in Deadwood, but I think in this film it would have interfered and make it a little less mythic.
Until the sequel.
Thank you for coming out. And my 2 questions are: who is doing the music for this movie?
My 2 answers are Harry Gregson Williams. What's your next question? Go ahead. I don't want to make you wait on mine.
Just real quickly, who's doing the special effects?
Well, we have a combination of ILM doing the. That's why I'm up here visiting with those guys. The best. Roger Guyette is the supervisor, and the people who are doing the physical stuff, the puppet work and all the practical, is a shop called Legacy, which are the people who were formerly Stan Winston Studios.
I'm from New Mexico, and there's been this big controversy in our state about tax incentives for movies, and this discussion that like Avengers will be pulled from filming in the area. I was wondering, since you shot in Santa Fe, if you could speak to things like tax breaks in New Mexico and how that affects industry coming to our state.
I mean, first of all, we couldn't have made the movie we couldn't have put as much dollars on the screen as we did if we had not gone to New Mexico. Conversely, we were there for 3 months, giant crew, all of us there spending a ton of money, so I really think it's mutually beneficial, and I hope it'll continue.
And I'll say also that part of, you know, we shot in a combination of California and New Mexico. I'm in a place in my career where I don't really chase the tax breaks. We went with New Mexico primarily for the look of it. We really liked it, and to film in the summer, it worked very well for us. There's a really good film infrastructure. We built a lot of our sets in California. I think it's the tax break situation. is a tricky one, because I don't think that the film quality should be compromised by chasing tighter margins. But if it's best for the film, as it was in our case to shoot a combination of LA and New Mexico, I thought it was great. Rather than doing CG set extensions, you really had beautiful landscapes and a great community of filmmakers there in New Mexico as well. But California, I think, I prefer shooting here when I can as well.
And unfortunately, this is going to be our last question.
I feel really bad now. So, the film looks great so far, guys. By the way, good job. I wanted to ask that the kind of juxtaposition of Western and sci-fi, is this kind of your commentary on the birth of Manifest Destiny and moving forward, and then kind of where it is now with space being the final frontier kind of meeting?
I think that's a great question to finish up on. What's happened in the post-Vietnam era is Manifest Destiny kind of went out the window as a simple thought. Indigenous populations we began to empathize more with, the colonial age was ending, and we began to see ourselves as a world community. And I think that's a positive thing. The bad thing about filmmaking is that you've often dealt with archetypes that weren't really related to the reality of who those people were. And you lost a lot of the traditions of filmmaking. And I think with all these alien invasion movies, what's fun is you can make the aliens, this ineffable force of evil, and then allow the Cowboys and Indians to come together to fight them, and fall back on very old traditions of what you would see in the older Westerns, because you're dealing with an alien force. It's no longer people fighting against people. So it opens up the door in a way to make the filmmaking a lot more rough and brutal and simplistic. And that was a big appeal for this. I think you're seeing it in more movies. You're going to start to see it as there are a lot of alien movies. You're going to start to see a lot of the old traditions of filmmaking come back, because you're not as concerned about the political correctness of what you're dealing with. You want to add anything else?
And just by doing it, then people get to be shocked. If an alien landed here or a UFO landed here, I think most of us would be like, some of us would be shocked. So, yeah, I knew it. Back then, it's still kind of a shock. So that's a beautiful.
You can make a PG-13 movie really brutal too, if you're not killing real people, which is also fun. There are heads coming off the Lord of the Rings. That's PG-13, right? Anybody else? We have time for one?
Actually, yes. Apparently the gods have heard your cries, and we've been given another couple of moments for a couple more questions.
Thank you.
Two questions. Number one, are you going to show this at the Arrow? And number two...
The Arrow Theater, yeah, I hope so.
I hope so.
My local theater in Santa Monica, yeah.
I know, I saw Iron Man 2 there. You called me Big Iron Man nerd. But,
Is that why you're wearing a Superman shirt now?
Oh, I had to buy this. Sorry.
That's all right.
I like some characters, kind of. I didn't say that out loud. The other question was, I heard Sam Rockwell's role was originally written a lot differently, and you guys changed the role for him. Is this true?
All written for a different purpose?
I think they all were written a lot different. They were all very involved. Certainly Harrison's role was different.
I mean, you always do that. Once you put a face to the roles you're casting, you inevitably want to make sure that you are tailoring it to their voice as much as you can, even if the structure of the story doesn't necessarily change. So everyone was very involved in making sure that the character's voices was something created by all of us.
So for the last couple of minutes, should we do speed round and see how many we can answer really quickly? Let's do speed round.
Yes or no preferred.
Okay.
Hi,
yes.
I just want to say, first of all, screw Family Guy, you should be in your movie.
The polite golf applause.
Yeah. I want to ask you, was it hard to have a guy like Harrison Ford, who was in Indiana Jones all those years, to put him in a new Western and try to get him as a new character? I don't know if he got, his hat's different, looked like Craig had his hat. I don't know.
Yeah, it did look a lot like Craig had his hat.
Right.
There was a lot of that going on. Harrison was going to wear chaps, then he saw Daniel's chaps. He says, okay, he gets to wear the chaps. He was he's a horseman, he has his own ranch, so he had a lot of strong opinions about Westerns, but the only Western he was in was the Frisco Kid. And I said to him, I think we could beat it. I think we could beat it. So I think the box office. Excellent.
quick question about the working with the special effects in this movie versus Iron Man, and what's the truth behind the Iron Man mask that you gave Howard Stern?
Howard Stern, the mask we sent to Howard Stern actually had components of it that were on camera, and he's given me a really hard time saying I gave him a fake mask that was a giveaway item that was made by some prop house. So it really was a real mask. And to work with a combination of digital and practical effects, which I did on Iron Man, is we kept that same methodology for this. And we didn't start it. It was good to have Steven working on this. They did the same thing on Jurassic Park, and I think that movie still holds up because of it.
Hi, the movie looks really good, by the way. And can you tell me a little bit about Olivia Wilde's character in the movie?
She's awesome, first of all. I said, Olivia, please try to come down. She was working. I said, please come down. All your fans who have crushes on you are here. Do you have any message that I should pass along? And she said, she literally texted me saying to tell you guys that she sleeps naked.
To answer your question.
She's the best, though. She's wonderful. Her character is somebody who's a little bit more in the know than she seems to be, and she's a key to the film in many ways, and one of the main characters. One last question, I see.
Yeah, I just want to say I love the movie. I love alien tag movies. Battle of LA, I loved it. I just got Skyline. I can't wait for Cowboys and Aliens. My question to you, though, is if you could do another comic book movie, who would you do?
I would like to play Gru someday. That's my dream. Sergio Aragones. Thank you.
I think I'd want to do Bazooka and do a movie.
Bazooka Joe?
Bazooka Bubblegum.
Oh, Bazooka Joe. I can play Mort. Thank you all very much.